and almost lost your own in the process. She glared at him. You can't suspend me. I didn't do anything wrong. You disobeyed a direct order and your actions could have endangered others. How? She demanded. You turned off your radio, didn't you? You had no idea what the status of the other responding personnel might have been, nor did we have anybody on scene to provide status reports on the fire until the first engine rolled up. She had no answer to that, especially not when he reached down and unclipped her radio from her shoulder. When he turned the dial up, the air was immediately filled with voices and static as Chief Gallegos and his team communicated through the airwaves with dispatch about their needs. I made a judgment call, she said. It sounded weak, even to her. Okay, maybe she had ignored department policy, but those two boys chattering to the EMTs were proof that her judgment call had paid off. The wrong one. I'll see you in 7 days, he answered tersely, then turned and stalked over to the fire command center. Cade had never been more angry. The fury prowled through him, harsh and wild like the fire burning through Darwin Twitchell's dilapidated barn. He had to be able to trust her to do exactly what he asked. Out of all 6 officers in this small ragtag Haven Point Police Department, he trusted Winona most. She was smart, hard-working, compassionate, and insightful. She had natural instincts and seemed to always find the perfect way to allay any tense situation, from drunk altercations down at the Mad Dog Tavern to hot tempers between neighbors. He figured she came by those instincts naturally, since she was 4th-generation law enforcement in these parts. He didn't want to suspend her, especially not when they were in the middle of their busiest time of the year, with a summer tourist season heading into full swing. But what alternative did he have? This wasn't the first time she had ignored his orders, but he vowed it would be the last. He wasn't a control freak, but he had to know that his officers would follow the chain of command. He glanced back at the ambulance. She looked so fragile and vulnerable sitting there in the grass, her cheek sooty and strands of wheat-colored hair slipping free of the thick braid she always wore on duty. Beneath his anger lurked something else, something he didn't want to look at too closely. He only knew that he couldn't remember ever feeling that bone-deep fear that had sent him racing out of the station to his vehicle, and then bulleting through town to the fire scene. She was a police officer, one of his police officers. He would have worried about any of his guys who stopped responding while out on call. He put it away when he saw Eric Gallegos heading in his direction. What's the status? He asked the fire chief. Barn looks like it's going to be a total loss, Eric answered. Old thing was about to fall over anyway, next time a stiff wind blew off the lake. At this point, my crew is just trying to put out the flames and make sure it doesn't spread to the undergrowth. That a concern? Eric shrugged. Not really. All the rain we've had the last few weeks has reduced the threat level for now. But you never know. Cade hoped they had another 6 or 7 weeks before fire season hit, especially since some places in the higher elevations were still covered in snow. The chief jerked his head toward his EMTs. Winona okay? He followed the other man's gaze, where Winona was smiling and saying something to the younger of the Keegan boys. Seems to be. He thought about leaving the situation there, but figured word would spread soon anyway, and he might as well get out in front of it. I gave her a week suspension for disobeying a direct order and for turning off her comm. Eric snorted. Seriously? Harsh. You know you would have done the exact same thing. That was different, though Cade couldn't quite pin a finger on why. Your guys were 4 minutes behind her. She should have waited for somebody who could search the premises wearing proper gear. 4 minutes is a long time for 2 scared little boys, the fire chief said. Cade still knew he had made the right call. That had been 4 minutes of hell he never wanted to live through again, trying to raise her on the radio, then rolling up to the scene a half-minute before the fire crews to find the place engulfed, and no sign of her. When she had burst out of that door seconds later like she was some kind of freaking avenging angel,